with the times and things that how things are right now. It is by Rosemary Watola Tromer, and it goes, I think of the bones of the unsung ribcage, the way they protect the heart, how bone too is living, how it constantly renews and remakes itself. I think of how the ribs engage with other ribs to expand, to contract. And because they do their solid work, they allow the heart to float. This is what I want to do, to be a rib in this body of our country, to make a safe space for love. There is so much now that needs protection. I want to be that flexible, that committed to what's vital, that unwilling to yield.
Good morning again. The reading this morning is Psalm 37, verses 1 through 11 and 39 to 40. Some of the oldest poetry in the world. Do not fret because of the wicked. Do not be envious of wrongdoers, for they will soon fade like the grass and wither like the green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good, so you will live in the land and enjoy security. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will act. He will make your vindication shine like the light, and the justice of your cause like the noonday. Be still before the Lord, and wait patiently for him. Do not fret over those who prosper in their way, over those who carry out evil devices. Refrain from anger and forsake wrath. Do not fret, it leads only to evil. For the wicked shall be cut off, but those who wait for the Lord shall inherit the land. Yet a little while, and the wicked will be no more. Though you look diligently for their place, they will not be there. But the meek shall inherit the land and delight in abundant prosperity. The salvation of the righteous is from the Lord. He is their refuge in the time of trouble. The Lord helps them and rescues them. He rescues them from the wicked and saves them because they take refuge in him. May God bless the reading of this word.
Thank you so much, Linda. I would really like the poems we're sharing today to be the primary messengers for this morning, but I do have a few thoughts to offer. There is a lot to worry about these days. Our country, our world, our jobs, our health, our environment, our kids. So I think it's good from time to time to look to the arts, not so much to escape, but to ignite our imaginations, to touch the depths of our hearts, to envision another world, a better world, as Jesus did with his stories and sayings and healing actions. That is why we hold our annual Epiphany Festival of the Arts here at Hingham Congregational. We do that to communicate in ways other than just using plain, old, prosaic words. Jesus grew up with the Psalms. He grew up with the psalm we read this morning. The Psalms, as you might know, are poems that were set to music and were sung in the temple in Jerusalem for many, many years. Yes, this is Poetry Sunday here at our church, but you might say that every Sunday is Poetry Sunday here at HCC and at most churches all around the world. The call to worship, is poetic. All of the hymns are musical poems. The anthem, the offertory that the choir sing, are poems set to music. The Gloria, the doxology, both poems that we sing together. Why is it that we structure our worship with poetry? Beautiful, rhythmic, often rhyming language. Why all this poetry every week? I think it's because poetry is powerful. It can be challenging, yes, but it is so often comforting and inspiring. Poetry inflames our hearts and touches our souls. It opens our eyes and expands our minds. And Jesus wanted to do all of those things for his people and for us. And this is one of the ways that we can do it for each other. The excerpt from Psalm 37 that Linda read for us this morning invites us to give up our anxieties, our worries, and even our anger. That's easier said than done, of course. We want to give those things up, but how? As you know, I am not inclined to offer easy answers when I speak to you on Sunday mornings. But I think, especially these days, it's important for us to support each other by offering suggestions and invitations to each other in such a worrisome time. And my invitation this morning is to look to the things that are larger than ourselves. Let's look to the comforting Spirit of God, that same Spirit that filled Jesus through all of his stressful and painful times also fills us if we let it in. Jesus takes up that same theme when he says, "And which of you by worrying can add a single day to your span of life?" He goes on to encourage us to seek together God's beautiful and peaceful new world rather than worrying about today's world. As a community of faith, we together are larger than any one of us is on our own. That's why I'm such a believer in church, in addition to being a believer in God. Together, we can weather any storm and support each other through any loss or challenge. I'm not saying that we can fix the world or fix each other, but I do believe that through shared worship, shared study, shared service, and sharing the arts, including music and poetry, we could make each other's lives not just bearable, but beautiful. I'd like to share a poem now that I've written recently. It suggests that God and God's creation can offer all of us comfort, even in the cold of wintry and difficult days. It's called Blanketed. It snowed last night, a soft layer of white. The woods are clean and crystalline. The sunlight reflects off the surface, magnifying the brightness of the day. My footsteps crunch, but all sounds are muffled. There's quietness and peace out here. It feels like a mother's love or some kind of divine gift. I do not expect it to last. Snow melts so quickly these days. But the air is cold, and I hold out hope for one more day of this beautiful blanket. Amen. Thank you so much, Eileen. That was beautiful. I would like us to look on the back of our bulletin now for the list of folks we've been praying for. Before I do that, one person wrote on the in the booklet that you can always write in every week. It's in the entranceway if you want to share prayer concerns that way. And the person is asking us to pray for Pope Francis, and I want to encourage us to. I know we're not a Roman Catholic Church, but I do admire him so much, and thankful for what he has done. An imperfect but wonderful man, and he's in the hospital and fighting for his life. So we're praying for Pope Francis. And also we're praying for Steve Garland's family. We had a memorial service here in the sanctuary yesterday for Steve, and Helga wanted me to say thank you to all of you who attended or helped in any way to make that service meaningful for her family. And we're continuing to pray for Phyllis and for Debbie, for Timblin, Palo Pinto family, for Gerald, Candy, for Heather, for Janet, for Maureen and Zachary, for first responders, for Richard, for the people of the Middle East, people of Haiti, people of Ukraine, the women of Afghanistan. And as always, all through this year, we're celebrating God's beautiful, amazing earth. And now I'm going to pass the mic if you'd like to offer any prayers or concerns or joys.
I'd just like to say a prayer for our civil servants and the employees of agencies across our country and globally that are suffering through a period of confusion and angst and sorrow that is maybe more than is needed for what we're all going through.
Thank you, George.
I just ask for continuing prayers for our former sister here, Deb Redmond, who has apparently discovered a little more cancer.
For Deb. Anybody else? Alex, go ahead. Speak up as much as you can. Okay. Alex is praying for his grandmother, BJ's mom, who's battling dementia. We will pray for her. Go ahead, Jim. Marcia Sinclair lost her dad this week. Her mom, okay. Marcia Sinclair lost her mom. We'll pray for Marcia and her family. Thank you, Jim. You're up.
Even though Naomi Shahim Naim was born in St. Louis, her father was Palestinian and was a refugee in 1948. However, the American mother and Palestinian father and Naomi went back when Naomi was a teenager, and she was there because her grandmother was dying. She's also been known as the wandering poet because she goes all over the world to teach and to read her poetry. In fact, she was in Hingham several years back at Old Ship Church. Anybody else there? Became converted by her poetry. But she uses the metaphors of the countries that are border countries, including Mexico, which is involved in this poem called Kindness. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. How desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window. forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the single breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend.
Thank you, Kate. Let's be in a time of quiet prayer. We pray in the Spirit of Jesus. Amen. Please stand in body or spirit, and we'll sing number 25 in the Black Hymnal. Please remain standing and we'll say our congregational commissioning together. As we leave this place of worship, let us work to create Christ's realm of love, justice, and peace. Doing the Holy One requires doing justice, loving kindness, and walking humbly with our God. Amen.
This is the last stanza from Robert Frost's poem, Two Tramps in Mud Time. But yield who will to their separation, my object in living is to unite my avocation and my vocation, as my two eyes make one in sight. Only where love and need are one, and the work is play for mortal stakes, is the deed ever really done for heaven and the future's sakes.